In the long journey of a human life, perhaps no question is more haunting than this: why does my life unfold the way it does? Why are some people born into abundance and peace, while others must bear suffering, loss, and injustice? Why, with the same effort, do the results each person receives differ so greatly? Thousands of years ago, Buddhism offered a profound explanation, not based on blind belief or the judgment of any omnipotent being, but on a natural law that is subtle and absolutely fair: karma. Karma is not a fixed destiny. Nor is it a punishment or reward bestowed from outside. In its deepest essence, karma is the flow of cause and effect, created by each of our thoughts, words, and actions. Every intention that arises in the mind, every word we speak, every action we take, no matter how small, leaves an imprint. And it is precisely these imprints that, over time, weave the picture of the life we are experiencing today. To truly understand karma is to understand that life does not operate randomly. Nothing happens without a cause. Even what appears to be the most unjust is not an irrational punishment, but the result of deep chains of causes and conditions, sometimes extending beyond the memory of a single lifetime. When we realize this, we no longer blame fate or resent life, but begin to turn back and look at ourselves, where everything originates. What is special in Buddhist teachings is that karma is not a rigid form of determinism. It does not say, you were born this way, so you will always remain this way. On the contrary, Buddhism emphasizes that the present moment is the most powerful moment, because right now, you are sowing the seeds for your future. Every wholesome thought, every mindful action, every choice made with awareness can transform the current of karma that is at work. Many people misunderstand karma, thinking of it as a mechanical law of, you reap what you sow, do good and good fortune comes immediately, do bad and misfortune follows at once. In reality, karma operates far more subtly and profoundly. Some seeds need a long time to bear fruit. Some karmic causes from a distant past are still silently ripening in the present. And some karma is being transformed day by day through the mindfulness we cultivate now. Understanding karma is not meant to instill fear, but to help us live more responsibly toward ourselves. When we realize that no one other than ourselves is creating this life, we begin to slow down and become more aware of each thought and feeling. We understand that a careless word can sow long-lasting suffering, and a small act of kindness can change an entire lifetime. Karma teaches us to live with depth, awareness, and compassion, not only toward others, but toward ourselves. In modern life, where people are swept up in a hurried pace, pressured by success and constant comparison, the teaching of karma becomes more necessary than ever. It reminds us that happiness does not come from controlling the outer world, but from how we relate to the inner world. It is not circumstances that determine who we are, but how we respond to those circumstances. And in each of those small responses, karma is being created. When we understand karma deeply, we also learn how to let go of resentment. For we realize that holding anger or hatred in our hearts is simply continuing to sow seeds of suffering for ourselves. Forgiveness, in the light of the Buddhist teaching, is not condoning another person's wrongdoing, but an act of freeing ourselves from the vicious cycle of unwholesome karma. Each time we let go, we lighten a part of the invisible burden we have carried for far too long. Most importantly, karma teaches us about responsibility and freedom at the same time. Responsibility, because we are the ones creating our own lives. Freedom, because at any moment, we can begin again with a more mindful choice. No matter what the past has been like, the present always opens a new path for those who are brave enough to slow down, look deeply into their own minds, and change from the root. This article will walk with you into the true nature of karma, not as a distant religious concept, but as a living law present in every breath, every thought, every daily decision. When you understand how karma operates, you will no longer feel like a victim of life, but become a conscious creator of your own destiny. And from that moment, life begins to transform, not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly. Steadily, and with deep awareness, when we understand that karma is not a punishment or reward from a supernatural force, but the natural result of what we ourselves have sown, we begin to look at life with different eyes. Every experience, whether pleasant or painful, becomes a quiet message reminding us of how we are living. And it is here that the Buddhist teaching on karma reveals its remarkable depth. It is not meant to judge, but to awaken. In every moment, human beings continuously create karma through three gateways: body, speech, and mind. The body is action, speech is words, and the mind is thought. Among these, mental karma is considered the deepest root. A thought that arises, if it is nurtured, leads to speech, repeated speech leads to action. Repeated action forms habits, and habits, over time, create destiny. For this reason, Buddhism always emphasizes returning to observe the mind, because changing at the root means changing at the deepest level. Many people mistakenly believe that only major actions create karma, while fleeting thoughts or careless words are insignificant. In reality, it is precisely the small things, repeated day after day, that quietly shape our lives. A negative thought nurtured over a long time becomes a pessimistic view of the world. A habit of judging others keeps the mind constantly unsettled. Conversely, a wholesome intention, even a very small one, can gradually open the door to a lighter and more peaceful life. Karma does not operate according to an immediate logic. Some seed sown today will bear fruit many years later. Some fruits are ripening now from causes planted in the distant past. Therefore, at times we see people who do harmful things still living in comfort, while kind people face many difficulties. But this does not mean the law of cause and effect does not exist. It simply shows that the flow of karma is far more complex than the short-term view of human beings. Like a seed buried deep in the soil, it needs sufficient water, light, and time in order to sprout. One of the greatest misunderstandings about karma is the belief that it makes people passive, resigned to fate. On the contrary, Buddhism affirms that understanding karma helps us live more actively. For if everything is created by karma, then we ourselves, right in the present moment, hold the power to transform it. Each mindful decision is a new turning point. Each time we choose love instead of anger, tolerance instead of resentment, we are rewriting the direction of our own future. Karma also teaches us about the deep interconnection between ourselves and the world around us. No action exists in isolation. A harsh word may hurt another person, but it also plants a seed of unease in our own mind. A kind action not only brings warmth to the receiver, but also nurtures peace within ourselves. Thus, living virtuously is not a sacrifice for others, but the most intelligent way to care for oneself. In modern life, where people are often tense, anxious, and caught in the cycle of success and failure, the teaching of karma offers a very different perspective. It reminds us that success does not lie only in external results, but also in the quality of the inner mind. A person who attains many things but lives in anxiety, fear, and endless craving is, in truth, still creating suffering for themselves. By contrast, someone who lives simply, knows contentment, and maintains a calm and clear mind is sowing the seeds of lasting happiness. When we look more deeply, we realize that karma operates not only at the individual level, but also at the collective level. The way a community thinks, speaks, and acts creates collective karma, affecting the environment, culture, and future of an entire generation. Violence, selfishness, and greed, if nurtured over a long time, lead to collective instability and suffering. Conversely, kindness, mindfulness, and understanding can transform an entire society in a healthier direction. The most beautiful aspect of the teaching on karma is that it always goes hand in hand with compassion and wisdom. Buddhism does not encourage us to judge others based on their circumstances, because we do not know what causes and conditions they have gone through in the past. Instead, we are invited to view everything with empathy and understanding. When we see someone suffering, we understand that they are experiencing the results of certain causes. And the best thing we can do is to sow wholesome seeds, through listening, understanding, and love. To understand karma is also to learn how to slow down. Slow down to observe the mind. Slow down to recognize the motivation behind each action. Slow down so as not to react according to old habits. In that slowing down, we begin to find freedom from being dragged around by negative emotions, freedom from being controlled by momentary impulses. And it is precisely in this mindfulness that we are gradually stepping out of the cycle of ignorance we have unknowingly created over so many years. When we live with an understanding of karma, each day becomes an opportunity for practice. There is no need to go to a temple, no need for complex rituals, only to live fully with each thought, word, and action. Life then ceases to be a series of random days, and becomes a meaningful journey, where every step contributes to shaping a brighter, more peaceful future. And then, at some point, we realize that karma is no longer a concept to contemplate, but has become a way of life. We no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but begin to ask, "What can I learn from this?" It is in that very moment that a person steps out of the role of victim and becomes the creator of their own life, in mindfulness, understanding, and peace. As we go deeper into the functioning of karma, a truth gradually becomes clear: karma is not something that binds human beings, but the most honest mirror reflecting each person's inner life. Every outer change, whether great or small, is closely connected to the inner world that we often neglect. For this reason, understanding karma is not only understanding the law of cause and effect, but learning how to return and face ourselves with honesty and mindfulness. In daily life, very few people truly pay attention to the small thoughts unfolding in the mind. We often assume that only actions matter, while thoughts are invisible, fleeting, and inconsequential. Yet according to Buddhism, those very thoughts are the root of all karma. A thought of jealousy, if nurtured, gradually becomes an attitude toward life. A silent resentment, if not transformed, accumulates into deep, hidden suffering. Conversely, a thought of gratitude, a moment of compassion, however small, can become a seed for lasting peace. Karma operates like a continuous flow, never stopping. It is not limited to a day, a month, or a single lifetime. Therefore, at times people feel helpless when facing overwhelming difficulties, as if they lack the strength to change anything. Yet it is precisely in such moments that the teaching of karma becomes full of hope, for no matter what the past has been, the present is always a new beginning. With just one moment of mindfulness, one different choice, that flow has already begun to change direction. What matters is learning to view karma with wisdom, not with fear. Fear causes people to live constricted, cautious, and sometimes morality becomes nothing more than avoiding consequences. Wisdom, however, helps us understand that living virtuously is not because we fear bad results, but because we clearly see the value of inner peace. When the mind is at ease, everything outside naturally becomes lighter. One of the deepest transformations that comes with understanding karma is a change in how we see others. Instead of judging, we begin to observe. Instead of blaming, we learn to empathize. We understand that each person acts according to their own level of awareness and karmic force. Some are not yet mindful enough to live gently, not because they are bad, but because they are being shaped by deep wounds that have not yet healed. When this is seen, compassion naturally arises, and compassion itself becomes a powerful source of wholesome karma. Karma also teaches us about personal responsibility in every relationship. No one enters our life by chance. Every encounter carries a lesson, whether it brings joy or pain. Some people come to support us, some come to challenge us, and some appear only briefly yet leave a deep imprint. When we view all relationships through the light of karma, we stop blaming, stop clinging, and learn to cherish each moment of presence. In modern society, where people are easily swept up in material achievement, karma reminds us to return to more enduring values. Money, fame, status, all can be lost. But what we plant in our consciousness, kindness, understanding, the capacity to love, these are the true assets that accompany us throughout the long journey of life. No one can take away the peace of a person who knows how to live mindfully. The more deeply we observe, the more we realize that karma is not harsh at all. On the contrary, it is profoundly fair and rich in compassion. It neither punishes nor favors. It simply reflects exactly what we have sown. And the most beautiful thing is this: every moment of mindful living can soften old karma while creating new wholesome causes. When we begin to slow down, listen to the breath, and observe the mind before each reaction, we are gradually stepping out of unconsciousness. We no longer let emotions pull us along, no longer act according to old habits. Each choice now becomes more conscious, and that very mindfulness is the key to transforming the deepest karmic forces. Gradually, we realize that life is not a series of random events, but a continuous journey of learning. Every difficulty is a lesson. Every loss is a reminder. Every joy is the result of wholesome seeds planted earlier. When this is understood, we no longer rush to resist life, but learn to walk with it, gently and more deeply. And then, in the stillness of the inner world, a simple truth gradually emerges: karma is not somewhere far away, it is being created right in this very moment. Even as you read these lines, the way you receive them, think about them, and feel them is quietly sowing new seeds. For this reason, there is no time more important than the present to begin living mindfully. From here, the journey of understanding karma is no longer theory, but lived experience. A journey of returning to oneself, learning to take responsibility for one's inner life, learning to love without conditions, and step by step building a peaceful life from the root. And when that understanding becomes deep enough, you will realize, changing karma is not about changing destiny, it is about changing how you live each moment. That is also the doorway leading us gradually to the most important part of this journey, where human beings learn how to live fully, freely, and serenely amid the impermanence of life. As we arrive at the final lines of this journey, perhaps the most important thing is not how much you have understood about karma, but what you have felt within yourself. For the teaching of karma has never aimed to satisfy the intellect, but has always pointed toward inner transformation, where no one else can walk in your place. Karma, in the end, is not an abstract concept or a distant law of the universe. It is present very near, very real, in every breath, every thought, every small reaction you have toward life. Each time you choose patience instead of anger, you are changing the current of karma. Each time you choose tolerance instead of resentment, you are rewriting your own future. And each time you pause to look deeply into your own heart, you are stepping out of the unconscious loop that has bound you for so long. Perhaps you have once asked yourself, can I truly change? The answer is yes, but not through hurried leaps, rather through very small, very steady movements. Karma does not demand that you become perfect. It simply invites you to be a little more aware each day. Aware when you speak a word. Aware when you nurture a thought. Aware when you make a choice, even the smallest one. And it is precisely from these seemingly insignificant things that a new life gradually takes shape. When you begin to live with an understanding of karma, you will realize something very beautiful: you are no longer a victim of circumstances. No matter what the past has been like, no matter how many times you have stumbled, the present moment always opens a door. The door of mindfulness. The door of choice. The door of inner freedom. You do not need to run away from suffering, nor do you need to fight against it. You only need to look directly at it with understanding and compassion. For suffering itself, when seen in the light of mindfulness, becomes the deepest teacher. It shows us what needs to be let go of, what needs to be healed, and what truly matters in this life. Karma teaches us to slow down in a hurried world. It teaches us to listen instead of react, to love instead of control. And most importantly, it teaches us to return to ourselves, the place where every beginning and every ending unfolds quietly. You may not see change immediately. But if you patiently sow wholesome seeds each day, you will gradually notice something miraculous. Your mind becomes lighter, your heart more at ease, and life, though it may still hold challenges, no longer frightens you as it once did. That is when karma begins to transform from within. And when you have gone deep enough on this path, you will understand that it is not life that changes to make you happy. It is when you change the way you live that life naturally transforms. If these reflections have touched some corner of your heart, please leave a comment below. No need for beautiful words, just a genuine thought, an honest feeling, or an experience you have lived through. Perhaps your story may become a light for someone who is lost. And if you wish to continue walking together on the journey of exploring Buddhist wisdom, of understanding the inner world, karma, and true peace in modern life, please subscribe to the channel. Not to follow, but to slow down together, to listen, and to learn how to live more mindfully each day. Because this journey is not about becoming someone else. It is about returning to yourself. Fully, mindfully, and serenely.